Welcome to Own the Chaos.
Chaos Crew.
The stock market is crazy and chaotic.
And then there's the Kronos Group. Yes, people, how could I not have a pot stock on this list?
Brad and Fat Man Zoom are here to help you own it.
All right, we got the top stocks to buy if Kanye wins the presidency.
Taking it to the suits, being relatable and hilarious.
That is crazy.
We have a nice Super Bowl, quite a lovely green one.
Over $31.
We have a nice super bonus.
There we go. Welcome to Own the Chaos, guys. My name is Brad. That is Fat Man Zoom. What an unbelievable day so far. Tesla's rocking. Drive Shack is rocking. You probably don't even know what Drive Shack is if you're visiting for the first time, which if you are, welcome to Own the Chaos. We made it our mission to help you own it because the stock market is crazy and chaotic. So, Fat Man Zoom, what we got going on today, man? It's been a wild day so far. A wild week overall.
Yeah, everything's feels like everything's green.
Yeah.
Today, the main topic of conversation is Tesla. We're going to talk about essentially what we thought was going to happen ended up playing out as far as the move. Tesla's finally getting a roll on. That's going to be the big topic of the day. However, we're going to get into some other plays we made. We got some Bitcoin conversation. We got some SPAC conversation. And then we're going to get to the Chaos Crew questions. So anybody watching, we're going to go through that cadence. If you have questions on the specific topic, feel free to ask questions about that. But as far as your general questions, we actually have a closing bell for our members, so we'll try to get to a couple, but really that's for our closing bell. So join the crew and have an opportunity to get all your questions answered today at 3:30.
Yeah, man. I mean, and let's just get into Tesla. I mean, we talked about this actually happening, right? We said that there was probably going to be a pullback when we talked about this on Stockwatch Sunday. We kind of felt as if Wednesday would probably be that day in which, you know, it would have been kind of a down day. And you and I personally ended up grabbing the dip on that. A lot of our folks in the Chaos Crew also grabbed a dip on that around 610, 615 area. And today it is paying off. People got that FOMO getting in before that S&P inclusion that will start after hours on Friday and will be officially traded on S&P on Monday. Super exciting stuff, my man. We freaking nailed that.
Yeah, you know, to recap, and I talked about this in the mentorship, but when they announced at the end of November that Tesla was going to go into the S&P, basically what we talked about was an initial move up.
Yep.
Which we got into that. There would move sideways and it was going to be volatility, but it was going to be largely sideways. And I think it's fair to say that that's what's going to happen. And we said back then that the key day was Wednesday. And essentially, the key day is Thursday when we thought it was going to start kicking into gear. And so Wednesday was sort of that last opportunity to get back in. So we even told them then, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to see it on the watch list. It's exactly what happened. And then not saying that, well, you know, it's definitely going to come into fruition, but so far it's pretty textbook. So the things I think we need to answer today, or the questions, and we'll answer one of them today, is the first question is, all right, so it's made a move. I've made money since the announcement. What do I do with my profits? Do I still hold it? Do I sell some of it? Do I sell all of it? And then the second question, which we won't answer today, but we'll answer in probably Stockwatch Sunday, is what do we do next week? What happens on Monday? And so that's going to be the big question there. But really, it's about today and tomorrow, what happens. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on that and then maybe segue into Penn because I think they're in similar situations.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Tesla? And let me tell you sort of the struggle that I'm having is my thought is when I'm trying to think about it is I'm kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
And we know this thing can run. And I think that 650 might become the new support. So if it blasts through this resistance, that it might become the new support. So I'm like, ooh, do I want to miss out on it? But we've seen this story, which is like, man, I could see tomorrow selling off and then, you know, us running up later. Like, I think a couple of things could happen. I could see the run up. I could see the sell off. And so when I'm in the fence, I don't love that feeling.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too, bro. I mean, and I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that have been looking at Tesla. And honestly, You know, I'm just going to share the screen here with you guys. We've been adding to the dips on this thing. I told you guys that I've been loading the boat on Tesla, and I told Fat Man Zoom, there's not a position right now that I'm not green on. So it's just been that kind of day. And the struggle for me has been, well, what do I take off the table? And so just coming back here to talk to you guys about this, you know, some people have already asked me about that because some of the stuff, the picks that we've had have just done so well that it is a little bit unnerving. We're definitely not trying to puff ourselves up here, but we've just been nailing everything. Sometimes it just feels like you can't miss. And so once you get to that point to where you feel like you can't miss, then it starts to become, okay, I really got to take something off the table here. And so some of the, best practices, I guess, if you will, or some suggestions that I've been making here and there and everywhere else has just been, well, if you're so green on everything, maybe taking a little bit off the table of everything. It doesn't, just because you're up a bunch on Tesla doesn't mean you have to take it all away. You know, there's definitely that possibility that can keep running. So for me, I'm just scaling out little bites of my positions in my portfolio across the board. And so that's kind of my approach. That way I at least have peace of mind that I've taken profit from at least something and not having that, not allowing myself to give into that FOMO of just like, well, what if I miss out on some big major run? So you're at least going to take some profit. You're maximizing profit while minimizing risk that way, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, I was thinking about what I would have been happy with before I made the trade. And we always talk about this, like when you enter into a trade, have an exit strategy.
Yeah.
And this is the hard part, is the emotional part. It's hard when everything's green and everybody's making money to not feel like you want to stay in it and squeeze every penny out of it. But we've been there where things have been so hot and we just hung out a little too long, and then we're chasing it and we're trying to dollar cost average it or whatever. Before I got in, 650 was this number I was looking for that I would have been happy with.
Yeah.
I thought there was an outside chance we could get to 700, and I was selling at 700. I was taking profits, leaving a few to run, but I have overextended myself. I have built up a bigger position than I anticipated going in.
Yeah.
So right before we went live, I actually did set a stop where I'm taking 50% of my shares off the table, and the stop is at 641, essentially. So if it goes to 641, half my shares, and I have it all in all my accounts, they're gone. I'm taking profit, and I'll still be up really, really nicely on that, and then let the rest do whatever it does. And I'm fine with volatility on the rest because I do believe in it.
Yeah.
Now, somebody did say about how everybody and their mother will be selling this, and I understand that, and I think that's definitely a strong possibility.
Yeah.
So Anand said that everyone and their mom will be selling because they were playing the buy-in use. Yes, that is what to think. But again, this is where it gets complicated. Institutions have to buy this.
Yep.
So there's not an option to sell it for certain institutions. So that's why it gets really, really tricky. If it was any other news, absolutely, Anand. This is why it gets a little bit more challenging to figure it out, because all the data says this is going to run for the next 30 days. But what we know about this stock is it's just cult-like following. And I'm wondering who's buying. Like, everybody's bought for this moment other than institutions. And is that going to move it enough?
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, if you guys aren't aware, the S&P 500 indexers are supposed to be buying about 17% of the float, which amounts to around $50 billion. And yes, that is with a B. And if we look at the way that it was impacted when they sold $5 billion just recently in the recent offering, how it reacted that way, imagine when you inject $50 billion more dollars into the stock and what that could potentially look like. Now, are you going to see some flippers from other institutions, buying this up and selling it into the indexers? Yes. But I think that there's going to be some massive influence to the upside on Tesla as well. And so it'll be interesting to see how that balancing act actually works. Is there so much money in institutions now that they're just going to flip it to indexers and it doesn't move, or it does end up coming down? Or is the indexers buying this going to continue to just propel this forward? Now, we've seen some pretty outrageous upgrades from other analysts as well, up to even as high as $780 per share. And so for me, I'm kind of in your boat, man. I don't know if I see too much downside here. And I know that sounds crazy, especially as much as this has moved up, but I'm not sure that I see that. And you're right. It does make it a little bit more complicated when you start factoring in all this other stuff. I mean, think about this. We've known about this Tesla S&P 500 inclusion for a month now, whereas most of them, it's maybe a week, if that.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
So there's been a lot of build up to this point. So, which you're right. It just complicates it a lot, but I still think that it's crazy to say this, but I still think there's a bullish case for Tesla here. Yeah.
We had a comment regarding this, and I appreciate you guys' comment regarding this specific topic. So Sam M said not selling Tesla for 10 years. Absolutely. And Brad and I both have Tesla in our investment accounts for long term.
Yeah.
No, you don't sell that. But, we talk about having different trading accounts, and we're talking about swing trading, short term. This is one where we are. And, it boils down to this, man. If it wasn't Tesla, or if it was just news, I'd be 100% out.
Yeah.
So what's it to me to take 50% off the table, and I'm still in it and I get to play it. And if it goes down, I'm going to average up.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go down, then I'm going to make it. But I've made over 50% on this run. I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's kind of where we're at. Eric Scarl asked, what's going on, Eric? Why do institutions wait till now to buy?
That's a good question. So it really just has to do with a lot of regulation and formalities and that sort of thing. They have to do so much to roll out the companies that they're no longer going to be in the S&P 500, which is surprisingly going to be one of them is Occidental Petroleum, OXY, which is a stock that Warren Buffett owned at one point, no longer does. But it's just crazy to see yet another oil company leaving the S&P 500. Pretty wild stuff. And then there's another an apartment related stock, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head. So they're moving two of those companies out in order to bring Tesla in. So there's just a lot that has to go on, especially with Tesla, because it's such a large company and will influence the S&P 500 pretty heavily. And so, they want to make sure they're doing this the right way. Remember, they were talking about doing this in tranches. They're going to do two different tranches of buying here to try to get the Tesla and the S&P in phases, I guess, in stages. So, but now they're decided to just do it all at once. But so there's just been a lot of things, a lot of hoops to jump through to get us to this point. And they're just not required. They're required to not start moving in until that specific date. So that's why.
Yeah, and it's, to be clear, it's not all institutions. Some institutions have already started moving in, but as far as the S&P is concerned, that's how they have it structured, and that's how they have it set up for any entry. It's not unique to Tesla.
Right.
Jana Lou, can you tell us in advance when you're taking a profit, what will be the price target? I just did. So we don't do it. We do in the mentorship that Brad has. And if you're interested in the mentorship, Brad trades every day in the morning, live 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time, where you can go live Zoom, see what he's trading, see what he's looking at. And in that community, which we have offline, we do a Discord, he'll let you know those targets. But that's short-term swing trading. So Brad actually does more market orders and sells basically as he's watching.
Yeah.
However, for long-term swing trading, we do have an account that we're going to be setting up next month, and we'll be doing that. We'll have price targets. But I'm telling you now, my target, this is me personally, 641. I have a stop in. So it hasn't tripped yet. I don't even think it's close yet, but it's going to automatically trip on that. So that's my target. Profit target, I don't have one other than that $700 number. If it goes over 700, I'll definitely be trimming off then.
Yeah.
So a lot of people shouting out Drive Shack. We killed it. It's continuing to be a monster. But let's talk about Penn.
Yeah.
Because people have been asking about Penn, and we were talking about this offline. Lynn's photo, what's up? Penn,
let me just pause real quick because I see a lot of comments about the hat here. I had to shovel the driveway, and my hair is a mess, so I just kept it on. So just deal with it today.
The best one was like, you just got done snowboarding.
Somebody said they were going to go put their beanie on, to just show some support. So I appreciate that, Claudia. Thanks.
We jump on like 15 minutes before we go live, and the first thing I said was, "Oh, Skater Boy."
He did.
So I was right there with you guys. Yeah, Claudia. It was she said I was hesitant on Drive Shack. It's fine, I'll wait. Yeah, you should be. Somebody said about the run and like profits. I'm loving seeing everybody take profits. That's the one big thing we talk about. I mentioned that and this kind of pertains to Penn, is like if this stimulus or if there's any negative news, like the stimulus doesn't go through or the stimulus isn't what people want it to be, if the market goes down, Drive Shack's going to go down exponentially.
Yeah.
So I believe there'll be opportunities, and it's tough to get in right now, but there'll be other opportunities for that. But Penn went. So here's the deal. And DraftKings is moving, LCA is moving, but I want to focus this conversation on Penn. Penn has been on a monster run. We see this as $100 stock in the near future, and we even said by the end of the year that 90 was the goal, was where our target was, where we thought it could hit. And lo and behold, it's at $90. It's done exactly that.
Yep.
And so it becomes a tough question because it's just on a tear. And I know you said yesterday, it's actually the profits you've made off Penn are far more or surpassed Tesla yesterday. Now that probably might have changed today, but
yeah,
it's been on a tear.
It's neck and neck. So if you guys know, I've been in Tesla for quite some time. So the amount of money that I've made on Tesla was substantial in this account that I have here on Webull that I share with our Chaos Crew folks. And Penn has now surpassed that. So it's just been an incredible run. But yeah, now they just keep kind of teetering back and forth. Tesla gets up around 650, 655. It'll be a different story. But yeah, man, Penn's just been awesome. And we talked about how we feel about Penn. And you brought up some interesting points too before we went live was, we've talked about how we feel so much strongly about Penn over some of these other ones. And you look at something like DraftKings, which has made a move, but not nearly as substantial as Penn has. MGM has also made a move. A lot of this has to do with stimulus, vaccines, approvals in several states on sports betting. And so the one that just really has made the big, strong move has been Penn. Now, we're trying to figure out exactly why that is. And we've talked about, the cult-like following that Barstool Sports has and the way that Dave Portnoy has just influenced this entire industry in that manner. And maybe this is the reason why. We talk about and I'm just sharing this with you now, Fat Man Jim. So maybe it's because of that. You look at Peloton and Tesla and specific companies that people are just so passionate about. It's like all the other ones kind of are just second place, if you will, to something like this. And maybe that's the root of it all, because we've talked about that cult-like atmosphere that the Stoolies have with their platform. And then you're talking 88 million viewers and listeners within Barstool Sports. So that's just an absolutely amazing number. And I don't know if any other platforms or companies can match that.
No, they can't. And I don't think the analysts have figured it out fully.
Yeah.
I think they even, at the beginning of, I think what's gotten them in trouble is at the beginning of this lockdown, the DDT, or what is it, Davy Day Trader Global, DDTG, is that what it is?
Yeah, DDTG, yeah.
And in not understanding his personality, you'd probably brush him off.
Yeah.
And kind of look at him as a kook. And I think that was their problem, is they looked at him and thought he was serious and didn't realize that it was all he's trading, he's spending a ton of money, but it's marketing. He's a freaking genius. It was just like him being like, let me do this. It was another opportunity, and it kind of caught on. But the reality is that I don't think they took him seriously because of that. And now they're just they don't realize the power of Barstools. They don't understand that DraftKings and FanDuel were built on Barstool, on that community.
Yeah.
And so you're telling me that Barstool can't do that for themselves if it's Dave Portnoy's skin in the game? You got to believe that dude is going to go at it with everything he has. And most people don't understand how big of a deal it is. Okay, Barstool, cool. But what you don't understand, people, is in maybe next year, but definitely in a couple of years, you're going to see Barstool Bets is going to be the leader in online gaming. And there's no doubt in my mind that's going to happen. It's going to continue to dominate. And on top of that, we're going to see in the new market. So this is why Michigan's so critical.
Yeah.
We're going to see when everybody's at the starting line, and this isn't me, this is Dave Portnoy saying it, but I agree. When everybody has the same starting line and the same resources, who wins? Barstool Bets is going to win period.
Yep.
And so obviously I feel pretty passionately about that, but I think you guys are going to realize that like this has a lot of room to run, and next year is a banner year. And when we do our 2021 picks, you bet your ass that Barstool and Penn stock's going to be on there.
Yeah, it's so funny that we keep saying Barstool, even though Penn National is the company that bought a significant amount of Barstool. I think that people are not going to think about Penn National, the business. They're just going to always think about Barstool whenever you talk about Penn. And I think that you look at Penn investors, and that's really what they are. They're just, I'm just going to invest in Dave Portnoy. And I think that's really what it's coming down to, and why we're seeing so much more drastic movement from Penn National's price and how it's gaining market cap over its competitors. It's pretty awesome to just kind of watch it unfold, even though like we saw this happening, way back when Penn actually acquired a significant amount of Penn and, or Penn acquired a significant amount of Barstool. And so it's been awesome to just kind of see all this unfold and how it's just going to continue to roll into 2021, man. It's just really cool to watch.
Yeah, and Arnie asks, is it time to sell Penn? I'm in since 59. Great entry. Already sold 30% of my position at $80. And this is going to tie into also what Jaffo said. Fat Man Zoom, you convinced me. I'm selling DraftKings to buy Penn. I wouldn't do that so quickly. If you're talking about your investment account, absolutely Penn. But we'll talk about DraftKings in a second and moving it over. But let's talk about Penn because, Brad, I've been also in Penn since the 50s, and I've been loving this train. But I actually put in my stop, and I'll tell you, I got to pull it up, but I pulled in a stop for that as well after I did Tesla. And I have it at, did it trip? Oh, I had it at 90. What was it at? No, $89.15.
I actually like it at $89. I think it's a really good stop if you're looking to trim out of some. And I'm in the same boat. I originally bought into Penn National, if you really want to get down to it, in the 30s, and I was kind of flipping in and out of it then. And then really got serious about it when it hit $58, $59 a share. And I've been averaging up since then. I've kind of been out a little bit, but never really been fully out, and then kind of went for broke on its most recent pullback down here in the low 70s. And so now I'm kind of thinking the same thing, just kind of trimming some out because at this point I'm a little overexposed because it's moved up so much. Between this and Tesla, it's taking up a huge chunk of my portfolio, and I don't know if I feel comfortable having it influence my portfolio this way, because any kind of significant pullback on either one of these is going to drastically change the value of my account. So I want to make sure that I'm taking some profit, and we've talked about this, managing some risk, and just kind of going from there. I think it's definitely a smart decision. I may end up selling probably about 25% of Penn before it's all said and done on this run up today.
Yeah, and we should, like the major news outlets we should be hearing about Michigan, and that should be hitting Michigan in the first couple of weeks of January. My expectation is there's going to be an opportunity, a dip before then, but regardless, if you're a little worried, keep some on the table, Arnie. But I think your initial sold 30% at 80 is smart.
Yeah.
Selling another position and then just leaving 25% or whatever you want. Like if I really am worried about something running, Brad's the same way. Leave a percentage in there. I'll leave a percentage in there and I'll let it run. But man, Penn moves as well. It's very volatile. So you'll get other opportunities for that.
Yep.
In regards to DraftKings, which we call my side chick if you're in the mentorship. DraftKings is, I've been kind of short-term swing trading it, and it's been really, really good to me. I wanted to get it at 50, and I missed it. I got the last run, but I didn't get this run. It's been lagging. I'm now looking at MGM as another opportunity to catch up. But I don't think DraftKings is a bad play if you're just trying to play momentum and you're trying to play sort of short-term swing. But if you're asking me long-term, it's always going to be Penn. However, to jump in this now as a swing short-term, I think you wait.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And just to be clear, I know it sounds a little bit contradictory that we were talking and singing Penn's praises like crazy. And then in the same breath, we're talking about selling it, trimming it out. It's not because we don't believe in the company. If we didn't, we would be completely out. It's just managing risk at this point. And you've seen this from some of your probably your favorite investors. Kathy Wood comes to mind when everybody lost their shit because she trimmed out a Tesla in the ARK ETF. And it was, it's really to just maintain their 10%, which is the largest position they have in that portfolio, in that ETF, 10%, make sure it's not taking up more than 10% of that portfolio. So they trim it to manage risk and then continue to maximize profit that way. You guys have seen how ARK's ETF moves that way too. So, just wanted to make sure that we're clear and not causing any more confusion by saying, in one hand, we love it so much. And then the other hand, we're talking about selling it. So want to make sure that you guys understand that whole entire concept.
Yeah. SoundCloud says, hit that join button. Let's talk about the Chaos Crew a little bit.
Yeah.
Then let's get back to, let's wrap it up with Tesla, sort of circle back, see how that's doing. But we've talked about all these movers. They've been on our watch list for a very long time. And I love to see all the Chaos Crew members who have benefited off of these moves, because it's not just us making money off of this. We've had a lot of them hit. We were just talking about it. Like we're just enjoying the good times because we're not always going to be able to nail it like this.
Yeah.
Between Drive Shack, between Penn, between Peloton, Stockwatch Sunday Pick, between Tesla, all these things we've been calling out.
Rite Aid too,
IPOB,
man.
What's that?
Rite Aid.
Rite Aid. Yeah, Rite Aid was a monster. These are ones that have consistently, not just one time, consistently we've been bringing up. And so that's what you get with the Chaos Crew. Why don't you tell them a little bit more about that, Brett?
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in getting our daily watch lists as well as having access to our Webull portfolio daily, then hit the join button next to subscribe. Or if you can't see it there, there is a link in the description as well. We also give private live streams and helpful video tips and stuff like that. We also gave our Chaos Crew first access to our automatic trading bots as well, which they are already using and loving so far. So yes, great stuff. If you guys want to be part of the crew, we'd love to have you over there. Also, it just helps support the channel. And guess what, Fat Man Zoom?
What's that?
We're giving away a free Tesla share on Sunday.
You don't say.
So we just crossed over 1,000 Chaos Crew members. And to say thank you, we're selecting one lucky Chaos Crew member to win that free Tesla share. So if you guys want to be entered in that, make sure you're doing it before Sunday, before Stockwatch Sunday. And we'd love to have you part of the crew.
And somebody did mention Bitcoin. They wanted us to mention that. And I did say it at the beginning. So we just wanted to touch on Bitcoin. We did a video a few weeks back. It might have been, it's probably a few weeks now, right?
Yeah. When it was just starting to approach 20K. Yeah.
20K. Yeah, so Bitcoin has been on fire, and we don't claim to know Bitcoin.
Yeah.
For us, it's at all-time highs. So it's something that we are trying to learn about, but we're not in Bitcoin. We don't know enough about it to be confident in it. But we did a video basically saying, if you're in that boat where you're not convinced about Bitcoin, what are some stocks you can play as far as that's concerned? So we said Square and PayPal, and what did you know that Bitcoin goes to all-time highs at 23K, and what goes off? Square
and PayPal. Right. Yep.
So what is Bitcoin at right now?
Bitcoin's at 23,100. Got as high as around 23,500, which is just crazy. It's been on some monster moves, but yeah, we're checking on Square. Square had a great move today, especially right out of the gate. We bring it back down to the 5-minute. Went up as high as, and regrettably, I did sell some Square down at 220. Sold the rest of it. Still sold for profit, so I can't bitch too much, but it always hurts a little bit when you see it move this much. It went all the way up to 237. PayPal also made the move. This is another one we said that was going to move with Bitcoin, and it went up to 238. It's up 2.75% today so far. So yeah, really great moves out of both of those. If you guys don't understand Bitcoin, but understand the influence that it has, Square and PayPal are our favorite ones to kind of go after as it relates to crypto.
Yeah, so Brad likes Square, I like PayPal. We both are cool with both. It boils down to do your research, do your due diligence, and figure out which one you like better, because they're exposed a little bit differently to Bitcoin. So you have to make that decision on what you feel good about, if that's something you want to enter into.
Yep.
So the topic today was Tesla. We talked about, I have a stop in at 641. That's looking pretty good. I'm not sure if that's going to trip. We'll at the closing bell, I'm sure we'll find out more of how this is going to react at the end of the day. But we talked about how the move has been made, and it does feel good, man. I'm going to be honest. Sometimes it feels good to say, hey, with everybody who was predicting it would go to 1,000 and it would just be straight up and all this other stuff, it's crazy when it, at the end of the day, we're trying to use it's like our best guess.
Yeah.
But it's still a guess. We try to take all the information and make an educated guess.
Yep.
And the fact, when I was in the mentorship this morning and we looked at the pre-market high, we got in the long-term swing trade, and then it moved like it was textbook today. And so for somebody who still isn't in it, what do you do? So we talked about the profit taking. If somebody isn't in it, what do you do?
I think that you just wait for some sort of pullback because it probably will happen. We see this pretty regularly with Tesla. The last thing you want to do is just chase it. And there's one thing that I always tell people. They're like, well, what if this is the one that ends up getting away? And it's like, well, there's so many other good companies out there to trade. There's always something to go for next. And, make a plan for the next one. It's okay to say, you know what, I had a missed opportunity and move on to the next one. That's just how it goes. It's like a quarterback who throws an interception, right? They don't just get on themselves, or at least they shouldn't, and continue to focus on the interception. They clear that from their mind and go on and win the game. So that it's the same kind of mentality. If you miss an opportunity, it is what it is. There's going to be a next one. The stock market is always open. There's always going to be something else to trade. So don't worry about it. Wait for a pullback because there probably will be one. Don't go chasing anything that goes crazy like this.
Awesome. So for you guys who are watching, who are on the fence, if you want to join the Chaos Crew, now's probably a great time to do it. We have a closing bell live stream that's private just to our Chaos Crew members, where we just answer your questions and really just talk about what happens as the market closes and it winds down.
Yep.
So if you are in the Chaos Crew, join us at 3:30. We'll send the link out in the community chat tab in a post. So go to the On the Chaos YouTube channel, go to the community tab. We'll post up the link there. And then the mentorship peeps will also post it in Discord. So if you're not in, you're out.
That's right. We got FedEx earnings coming out after hours, so we're definitely giving our reaction to that too. I'm sure it'll be real fun with FedEx. That was another Stockwatch Sunday one. So that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. For those of you in the Chaos Crew, we'll see you guys around 3:30, and that is going to do it for me. If you guys, again, are on the fence, make sure you're hitting the join button. Or if you just want to show us some additional support, hit that like button on your way out the door. I certainly would appreciate that. Were you going to add something?
Yeah. So if you just to make you guys aware, we're going to go live tomorrow at 3:30. We want to see how Tesla reacts after close.
Yes.
Because that's when the rebalance is going to happen. So subscribe if you're not subscribed, so you can get and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when we go live. But everybody meet back here tomorrow. We're going to do a live stream at 3:30, and we're going to see what really pops off.
That's right. Hit that notification bell. Make sure you guys subscribe, and we will catch you guys later. See ya. Bye.
Weeble's the